Hey, how's everybody doing out there, TikTok? So this story is called Bad Tomato. This is chapter one. I've already done chapter two, so you can find chapter two in my profile. Okay. So I'm the author of the story. I wrote it. Um, so it's an older man that's going in to talk to a priest. I'm just telling you real quick at the beginning. So it's an older man going in to talk to a priest. So that's what's going on. He has several confessions to make. All right. So I'm just gonna get right into it. So this is chapter Bad Tomato, chapter one. I'm an older man now, and my health is failing me, and I feel the need to make a confession about my life. There are many local and urban legends about me, but most of these tales do not seem to fit the bill of my story or my character. Some, while many portray me as a monster, in a sense I see myself as a Robin Hood of revenge, but that would be putting it easy. So the father speaks. So Thomas, you're here to make a confession? Yes, Father. If you have the time, indeed I do, says the Father. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, may I receive your sins and confessions. Go on, Thomas. Yes, Father. Well, it was summertime in Mesa, Arizona, and it was hot and sticky out. I was 15 at the time, and I was with my friend Johnny behind the old small church in my neighborhood. We were both kneeling around a hole I dug. Look, Johnny, you can't say shit to anybody about this. And Johnny says, well, why we gotta keep it here? And I told Johnny, because it's between your house and mine, so we can both get to it if we need it. It was a .38 revolver that I had stolen out of a car, and it was my pride and joy at the time. You got it, Johnny? Look at me when I'm talking to you. This is serious. Yeah, I got it, T. I got it. Okay, I told Johnny. I got this kind of talk from my pops. Well, my stepdad. I emulated everything he did. And man, I miss him so much. He had just come home from prison a couple years prior. Well, anyways, Johnny was a good friend, but I had two, Ray Ray. He was and is still my best friend and most trusted. So Ray was a couple years older than me and Johnny at the time, and he was away in ADJC, for which those that don't know, that's the Arizona Department of Juvenile Corrections. And he'd be coming home in a few short weeks with his first stripes. And man, I was so excited at the time. Let me tell you, those weeks went fast and my boy was out. So things went like this. Ray's first day out, he spent mostly with family, but me and my twin sister went to go see him with his family. He had a crush on my twin sister, but I didn't like that shit too much. He was too old for her at the time, and I never let her out of my sight, and I always watched them closely. I was very protective of my sisters. I was the little man of the house while my pops was away. So Ray's second day out, it was on. We had this apartment of a girl who liked all of us, and her mother worked the night shift at the hospital, and her house was the spot, and we loved it. We always had a blast over there doing whatever the fuck we wanted. She trusted us completely. Well, anyways, to get back to it, we were smoking and drinking and clowning around, and it was getting late, and Ray stepped outside with the girl whose apartment we were at, like he always did, trying to get the pussy first, and he did most of the time. So Ray and the girl are talking right outside the door, and my pops pulled up in his white Caprice and killed the headlights. Ray looked over, squinted his eyes, and he yelled, Get Tommy. Ray knew that voice, everybody did. He did not hesitate. He leaned in the door. Tommy, your pops is here. And I'm like, fuck, what'd I do now? But then I remembered I told him I would help him with the job that he had in the morning. He was a painter, and I would help him sometimes, putting up baseboards and shit like that, or cleaning up the mess, or taking down tape and whatnot. So I got it together and I said bye to everyone, and I told Ray on my way out, see you tomorrow, Ray. I'm glad you're home. And he says, I know you are, Pickle Lips. I'll see you tomorrow. So I ran down the steps and I jumped in the car in the passenger seat. And my pops looked over at me. You forgot, Tomato? I would have remembered. I just forgot for a little while. And he says, no shit, numbnuts. Then he put his right hand up, made a fist with his thumb and pinky out. I did the same, and we banged the back of our hands together. It was something only me and him did, and my way of knowing everything was all right. After that, my pops said, let's get home, get something to eat. And I told him, you cooking? Shit, boy, that's your mama's job. And we both started laughing. My mama was a chef, a real chef. She took good care of us both. We were her kings, and we always got served first. I love my mama. She's the most loyal and solid woman I know, and is still around today. Well, that night, we got home, we ate, and then I took my ass to sleep. Because I know my pops would have me up at 4 a.m, early as shit, because he liked to get his jobs done before it got too hot out during the summer. Tomato, get up. Coffee's on the table, my pop said. So morning had come, so we drank our coffee and got the day started. And while working, I was thinking how I liked working with my pops. It made me feel older at the time, and it was my way of contributing to the family. Hell, I'd ask my pops sometimes, when are you gonna need me again? And he'd look at me with this half-assed smile on his face. I'll let you know when I'm gonna need you again, he would say. So we're halfway through the job, we had lunch, and I was taking down some tape, and my pops walks up to me. Tomato, I just got off the phone with your mom. Hey, look, put that down a minute. I need to talk to you. What's up, I asked him. My pops said, I just got off the phone with your mom, and your boy Ray, he's in the hospital, Tomato, and it's not good. I'm telling you right now, it's not good. I'm not sure exactly what happened, But all I know is it happened not too long after you left last night when I picked you up. T, he's fucked up in a bad way. And by now listening to my pops, I was looking at the ground and my pops said, T, look at me. It's gonna be okay. Let's wrap this up as fast as we can and I'm gonna take you by the hospital to find out what's going on. My pops put his right hand up, made the fist with his thumb and pinky out, and I just stared at it. Tomato, look, it's gonna be okay, my pops said. I did the same when we banged the back of our hands together. If my pops said everything was gonna be okay, I believed him wholeheartedly. I trusted him. Now go clean up, he told me. I told him okay and I did everything he asked me to do to a T. And at that point, while cleaning up, all I could think was, damn, Ray's second day home and this shit happens? So we got done and we went to the hospital. So I found Ray's mom on the 3rd floor in the waiting room. And as soon as she saw me, she came up to me crying hysterically. I gave her a hug and I told her to calm down. What happened? She told me between sobs, last night, I guess after you left, Ray and Johnny left together, but they split up and Ray was by himself. And I guess he got into it with some guy and the other guy's friends jumped him, Tommy. They broke my baby's back and they don't know if he'll be able to walk again. Tommy, talk to Johnny. He knows more about it. But where is Ray right now? He's in surgery. He won't be done for 3 or 4 hours. I looked back at my pops and I said I was staying and he nodded his head in agreement and walked away. I sat there with his mother for 5.5 hours holding her hand and then the doc came out and said, give him a few minutes. We just woke him and then I'll let you in to see him for a few minutes, but family only. His mother stood up still holding my hand, so I never let go. And I followed the doc and his mom down the hallway. The doc stopped, turned to us and said, now he can't move or speak, but his eyes are open for right now, but he is conscious. I'm sorry, the doc said, you both only have a few minutes. So we walked in the room, Ray's mom's hand slipped out of mine, and as you can imagine, he was all hooked up to a respirator and several other things. Ray's mom, Kathy, walked over to him and she looked him in his eyes and she just cried. She kissed him on the side of his face and she said that everything was going to be okay and that she loved him. And while me standing there was a rage that welled up in me like I never felt before. Kathy, Ray's mom, turned to me and stepped back and said, go on, Tommy, see him. I walked slowly up to him. I looked down on him and I put my hand on his chest and a single tear left my eye. I was so mad that I bent out of earshot of his mom and I growled, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers. Ray's eyes started to bulge and they started blinking again and again and again. And all that blinking meant one thing. Yes, yes, yes. I asked him, did Johnny see any of them that did this to you? Blink once for yes, 2 for no. Ray blinked once and I walked away. I went looking for Johnny and I found him. Hey Johnny, what the fuck happened last night? Johnny said, last night, well, after you left, we hung out for a little bit and then me and Ray left, but we split up at the alley at the end of the complex, T. I was halfway down the street when I heard all the yelling and shit talking. I started making my way back to see what was going on, but when I got there, Ray was on top of this fool giving him the beat down of his life. Now my boy Ray, he had hands. He could put ass whooping on grown ass men for real. Then Johnny says, while I'm standing there, I watched a minute and then I jumped in and I started jumping on that fool's face. But 3 or 4 other guys ran up and one of them had a big ass bar or some shit and they got working on Ray. I tried to help him, T, but they were big ass dudes. Johnny, I told him, do you remember any of their faces? Yeah, said Johnny, I know one of them. They call him Bailey, an older guy. Okay, I told him. I knew Johnny was not lying because he was standing there in front of me with 2 black eyes. So over the next few days, me and Johnny walked up and down the streets. Johnny, let me know if you see any of them, I told him. So about on the 3rd or 4th day, me and Johnny were kicking it on a bus stop bench across the street from a Circle K, and I was rolling a joint. And right when I was about to light it up, Johnny said, T, look, there goes one of them right there. Where, I asked him. Right there in that black shirt, with that girl getting ready to go in the store. I see him, I told Johnny. Stay here and don't let him see you, because then he'll know something is up. You got it, Johnny? Stay right here. Yeah, I got it. Stay put. So I walked across the street, and I went and stood in front of the store by the ice machines, outside. I looked in the window, the girl was getting a pack of smokes, and his jerk-off was getting a pop with ice. So I waited for him to come out. So when they came out of the store, the girl and his jerk were walking past me, and I said to him, hey, G, you know where I could get a dime? So he stopped. He looked at me and he said, what the fuck did you say? Now I always talked real fast. So I repeated more slower this time. Hey, do you know where I could get a dime? And he says, a weed or shit? And I'm like, weed. So he told me he didn't have any on him, but a buddy of his had some at his apartment. And he asked me if I wanted to take a walk with him. And I told him, yeah, sure. So me, the girl, and him started walking. And while walking, he looked over at me and he said, what's your name, kid? I paused a moment. I looked at him and I told him my name was Brandon. Well, my name's Bailey. That's what's up, I told him. That's the end of this chapter. Let's get to the next one. Don't forget to like this and remember to follow me. I'll follow you back.